Okay. Hello, and thank you for taking your time out of your schedule today to listen to what I have to say. Today, I would like to bring up an issue about the environment and then present you the appropriate course of action which I implore you to take. The issue I would like to talk about today is the topic of hydraulic fracturing and how it negatively affects our environment. First of all, I shall explain to you what hydraulic fracturing is and how it negatively impacts our environment due to insufficient regulation. Secondly, I shall propose a solution to this and also explain how that solution will work. Third, I shall also attempt to provide my reasons and convince you to take my stance. So if you have any doubts that I am qualified to speak on this topic, I wish to inform you that I have been on studying and researching this topic for over a year now. And also, I will completely swear that I will not twist any facts and all my research is true. So I hope that you listen closely and in the end agree with my proposed solution. So to begin, hydraulic fracturing, as the name suggests, is a method in which you fracture a type of rock with water. And this process is used by gas companies in order to mine for natural gases such as shale gas, which is mined from shale rock located deep below the Earth's surface. This method employs a large amount of water as well as a chemical compound in order to release and retrieve natural gas. Within this process, the chemical compound, also known as a fracturing fluid, is a chemical compound consisting of more than 600 known chemicals, and within those 600 known chemicals, 300 of them at least are known to be carcinogens. Scientists examining this fluid have only identified 300, like I said, and also the negative impact of this method is that sometimes the fracturing fluid leaks out from its process into the aquifers, which is the water source in which we humans pour our fresh water from. So there is also a danger of methane building up in the gas formations and then releasing back to the surface. There's been cases of this happening over the country. Like, for example, in one case in Wyoming Pavilion, as reported by the documentary Gaslands, the water contamination there has reached the level where if you turn on the faucet of water, the water is actually flammable because it's loaded with methane. Also, there have been other cases as reported um, by um, by a website that records incidents regarding shale hydraulic fracturing. And it's been recorded in multiple states such as Colorado, Michigan, New York, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, and last but not least, Wyoming. So also, if we do not take a stand now, we risk polluting our environment with chemicals and contaminate our drinking water as well as the air in which we breathe with methane. So to this issue of hydraulic fracturing, I would like to point out the main cause of this issue. The cause is that the hydraulic fracturing method is actually exempted from the Safe Drinking Water Act since the Energy Policy Act of 2005 was implemented. My solution to this problem is to support the FRAC Act, or the Fracturing Responsibility and Awareness of Chemicals Act, which has been proposed by Morris Hinchey, a Democrat in Congress. First of all, this act would rescind the exemption from the Safe Drinking Water Act and require the gas companies to disclose the chemicals that they use and what they do with the fracturing method. With the requirement to disclose the fracturing fluid components, scientists can identify the water sources and decide whether hydraulic fracturing does contaminate water sources or not. Some states have already enacted or introduced legislation concerning this process in 2012, as reported by the National Conference of State Legislatures in 2012. The bill has been introduced from Congress from time to time, but none of them have been passed as of now. This bill has been stopped by opposition supported by the gas industry due to the costs that the gas industry is afraid of, and also the potential cases of groundwater contamination due to this. Also, but the thing is to look from that is that since the gas companies are afraid of this legislation, it also logically makes a point that this method is probably unsafe because even if it was relatively safe, the gas company shouldn't have much to fear, and their fear of incurring costs is pretty ridiculous. Also, is it right? It also the gas company also hides their fracturing components under trade secrets and other excuses. So let me ask you this: Is it right? Is it right to let gas companies do what's best for their business and oppose the people's voice and to represent themselves on their own health? Considering that this bill is passed, it would be a great step in protecting our environment and ourselves as human beings from drinking contaminated water and drinking polluted air. Gas companies would be required to regulate themselves and make sure that all the water we drink is safe and the air we breathe is clean. It will also clear up the issue once and for all if hydraulic fracturing does contaminate our water source. But the thing is, if this bill does not pass, this topic will be continually debated, and gas companies will possibly have free reign to pollute our environment with their mining of shale gas. I suggest that you contact your state legislature and congressman or congresswoman and urge them to support the passing of this act and not cave into the pressure of the gas industry lobbyists. Lastly, before I wrap up, let me recount everything that I've said so far. First of all, in the beginning, I stated and explained a bit into what hydraulic fracturing is and how it negatively affects our environment. Secondly, I introduced to you the existence of the FRAC Act, which is an act that would clear up this issue. And lastly, I urge you to contact your legislatures and support this issue. After that, I presented to you my reasons, and I believe that you should take this. And so far, thank you for your time. Any questions?